بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا تجعل الحزن والصعب إذا ما شئت سهلا اللهم آمين. So we continue inshallah our dars of tafsir. Last time we went through Surah Al-Alaq and we talked about the ayat that speaks about the importance of reading and seeking the knowledge, as Allah have started the chapter by Iqra Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq, and then we concluded last time Kalla inna al-insana la yatgha allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam, and how Allah Azza wa Jalla have taught the human being what they knew not from before. Now we continue inshallah with the rest of the surah. Kalla inna al-insana la yatgha an ra'ahu istaghna inna ila rabbika ar-ruj'a ara'ayta alladhi yanha 'abdan idha salla ara'ayta in kana 'ala al-huda aw amara bit-taqwa ara'ayta in kadhaba wa tawalla alam ya'lam bi anna Allah yara kalla la in lam yantahi lanasfa'anna bin-nasiyah nasiyatin kadhibatin khatiyah falyad'u nadiya sanad'u az-zabaniya kalla la tuti'hu wasjud waqtarib. And this is the sujood of position of sajda. So here Allah Azza wa Jal, kalla inna al-insana la yatgha. Indeed, a human would have the tendency to be tyrant, to be transgressors, la yatgha, from tughyan, from transgression. And ra'ahu istaghna, when they are in the position of wealth or in the position of power, they intend normally. They have the tendency to belittle others around them. Whether this ayah speaks about Abu Jahl la'natullahi alayhi, who was the main enemy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his da'wah to Allah Azza wa Jal, or whether it is in general. This is, Quran speaks in general to address all the circumstances and the issues of our livelihood until the day of judgment. So this is, you will see it sometimes in our life when people are in superior positions, whether it is influential and financially or authority. They, if they do not have the conscience and the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, chances they will be transgressing, chances they will be undermining others around them and hurting those who are under their position. So Allah is saying, Kalla inna al-insana la yatgha, representing a fact, a psychological fact about the human being. And ra'ahu istaghna, when they are in the position of power and ability. Inna ila rabbika ar-ruj'a, Allah is saying, be careful, because eventually you are going back to your Lord. Inna ila rabbika ar-ruj'a, you go back to Allah Azza wa Jal. There is a day of resurrection. There is a day in which you will be accountable, in which you will be held responsible for your actions in this dunya. Inna ila rabbika ar-ruj'a. And then Allah Azza says, ara'ayta alladhi yanha. Here, ara'ayta doesn't necessarily did you see, but it says it's a metaphor to indicate a surprising action and denouncing for this, to Abu Jahl la'natullah alayhi. And in the context of this ayat speaks about his, position against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he used to pray in the Kaaba or in the Haram around the Kaaba. He said, "Ara'ayta alladhi yanha?" Did you see that person who reprimanded the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and stopped him and prevented him from being engaged in his salah to Allah Azza wa Jal? Ara'ayta alladhi yanha 'abdan idha salla. And here abd came in undefined format to give more power and more value to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this context, as if Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, trying to raise the status of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and belittle the person who stands against him, referring to Abu Jahl la'natullahi alayhi. Ara'ayta alladhi yanha, that person who was preventing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from being engaged in his salah. عبدا إذا صلى. And here again, the Quran does not only specify and mention names, but it is a general statement. This is also applicable to those who are preventing others from establishing their salawat, those from preventing, people from being true servants of Allah Azza wa Jal in their salah. And we hear once in a while about some authorities or people of authorities who are preventing people from being able to establish their salah. And this is, there is a warning for them. And this is why the Quran made this statement general. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يَنْهَى عَبْدًا إِذَا صَلَّى. أَرَأَيْتَ إِنْ كَانَ الْهُدَى. What if that person was on the true path? And here again, Allah Azza wa Jal wants to give the chance for every person to reflect and contemplate on the fact that that there's accountability, and you should be always evaluating your actions and your deeds. Allah Azza wa Jal does not want those who are in wrongdoing to give up and to feel that they are despaired, but rather to all the time think, reflect, contemplate, and know that there is always a chance for you to fix and repair what you have damaged in your life as a result of your own actions or your own deeds. So this is this is what the Quran is always presenting a chance for those wrongdoers to come back to Allah Azza wa Jal and hope that Allah will accept them and they will change their attitude. What if that person you are trying to prevent from engaging in their salah, what if they happen to be on the right path? Reflect, contemplate. And he called people to be conscious and more mindful and aware of Allah Azza wa Jal. And here in the context of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam being a true messenger of Allah, being the true prophet of Allah, and he has, what if he is coming with a truthful message, and if he's calling people to be conscious and more aware of their Lord in their life. أَرَأَيْتَ إِنْ كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. What if this person, the tyrant, denied and ran away and or denied and turned away from the truth and the haqq? أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ. Did he not know that بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى, that Allah Azza wa Jal is fully monitoring, is watching? Again, subhanallah, this is a statement that when you read it, you feel the fear. What if I am being in this position without paying attention to this? What if I slip into this action and be an enemy to the deen of Allah and to the conscience and those who are on the right path? We hear a lot about Muslims being criticized and being nailed for the fact that they're Muslims. We have the example of a good number of Muslims in one of the most powerful countries on earth who are being subjugated to actions of brainwashing and changing identity simply because of the fact that they are Muslims. They don't want them to be submitting to the will of their Lord. They don't want them to be on the true path to Allah Azza wa Jal. And unfortunately, there are some Muslim countries who are endorsing the actions of this tyrant country that is preventing Muslims from living their life as Muslim, from having their children grow up learning their deen, and they're trying to take their identity away from them. This speaks to all the times, not only at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى. Did they not know that Allah Azza wa Jalla is watching? Allah the Mighty, the Powerful. Now here again came, in Allah, as referring to Allah Azza wa Jal, the mighty, the powerful, the one who have destroyed, you know, so many nations and so many people in the past as a result of their transgression in their life. ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى؟ كلا. Nay, لئن لم ينتهي, if he did not stop from aggravating, from preventing the servant of Allah Azza wa Jal from fulfilling his duty and responsibility of ibadah and calling upon people to believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. And kalla, nay, if they do not stop from, you know, imprisoning and jailing the dua to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. There are many scholars in the Muslim Ummah who are being jailed, by tyrants, by authorities. And Allah Azza wa Jal is saying to them, be careful, do not hurt those, you know, individuals who have taken the responsibility of conveying the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, who have taken upon their shoulders and gain the honor of being dua to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Be careful, do not stand against them, because Allah is monitoring, Allah is watching. Allah one day will be giving them the aid, but He's giving you the chance to reflect, contemplate and reconcile, because Allah Azza wa Jal, you know, tests people in their life, tests them with different tools and abilities and with different, you know, positions. So Allah Azza wa Jal, you know, as we're seeing, you know, people are being tested, and sometimes we wonder, well, why are the Muslims on earth being tested? Why are, you know, the dua, the mashayikh, the scholars are being jailed? Why are Muslims in, you know, X part of the world, Muslims in that part of the world are being subjugated, you know, to different torturing, to being killed, to war, to ill treatment? This is because Allah, you know, hikmah, wants to give the chance for those to rise and supplement in their status you know, with Allah Azza wa Jal, and it's also to give the chance for the tyrants to reflect and contemplate and repent to Allah Azza wa Jal before it is too late for them. And in the context of Abu Jahl, la'natullahi alayhi, when he came when he was preventing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from, you know, being engaged in salah and being, you know, in his ibadah to Allah Azza wa Jal in front of the Kaaba in the Haram, the Prophet sallallahu spoke back to him and tried to prevent him from stopping him from doing this. And then rather than, you know, Abu Jahl accepting the advice and return back to his own conscience and stop from hurting the Prophet ﷺ. And by the way, Abu Jahl knew 100% that the Prophet ﷺ is speaking the truth. He knew that the Prophet ﷺ's deen is haqq. He did not have even one slight doubt about it. What prevented him is his arrogance. And similarly, you would see this, you know, in nowadays, those who are standing against the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, those who are, you know, jailing the dua, those who are, you know, taking a stand against the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, they know, they are not in doubt. They know that these dua are on haqq and that Islam is the truth, but they are living in denial. Their arrogance is preventing them from accepting the truth, and the jealous and zealous is preventing them from seeing the truth revealing, because this is gonna make them lose, you know, their status and their power and abilities and their you know, lifestyle that they are used to and enjoying in their life. This is a fact. It's a giving. So Abu Jahl la'natullahi alayhi said to the Prophet ﷺ, "Are you threatening me? Are you threatening me, Ya Muhammad? And I am Abu Jahl. You know, I could, you know, in a short time call an army of, you know, of knights riding on horses to come and take care of you, Ya Muhammad." And then Allah Azza wa Jal after that revealed, "Kalla لئن لم ينتهي لنصفعن بالناصية ناصية كاذبة خاطئة فليدع نادية." Let him call his own people. Let him call his own people. سندعو الزبانية. We will call the Zabaniya, the Malaika of the punishment. Malaika, their feet in the ground and on the earth and their heads in the sky. And they say that when he was preventing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he backed off. When he saw him, he said, by Allah, if I see him making his sujood in front of the Kaaba, I'm gonna step on him. And then when he was attempting to hurt the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to prevent him, he backed off and ran away. And when the other tyrants and other ignorance of Mecca said to him, what's wrong? Why you were scared and running away? He said, by Allah Azza wa Jal, if I stepped 1 inch towards the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would have been killed by a knight who was standing by him. The Malaika would have torn me apart and torn me to pieces. And this is what happened to Abu Jahl la'natullah alayhi. ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى? Did he not know that Allah Azza wa Jal is monitoring, is watching? كألا لئن لم ينتهي لنصفعن بالناصية. Nay, if he does not stop, then we shall نصفعن بالناصية. السفع is الجذب بقوة, to grab someone and drag him with force. And here الناصية is the forehead. Young people who have nice hair, they like their forehead, the hair in the front, because it's what makes them look nice, right? Unlike those who are in my age, and we have lost this, and it's too late for us. But the nasiya is the forehead hair, which is the most beautiful hair, and what makes people look more handsome and nice. Allah is threatening him and say, لَنَصْفَعَنَّ بِالنَّاصِيَ, you will be dragged from your forehead. And this is the ultimate humiliation that in the context of Arabians at that time, that for someone to be dragged from his forehead. نَاصِيَةٍ كَاذِبَةٍ خَاطِئَةٍ, he will be dragged from his forehead. نَاصِيَة means up the forehead, the front of his head. كَاذِبَ خَاطِئَةٍ, Allah described this part of the head as كاذبة خاطئة. كاذبة literally means liar, خاطئة sinner. Why? Nowadays, as the science is advancing and medicine is advancing, this part of the head, this is the executive part of the brain. This is the area that is responsible for your actions of truth and falsehood, as well as for taking the actions of righteousness or doing the sins. Subhanallah. This is introduced to the Quran a long time ago before the advancement of the science. This is what Allah is referring to, نَاصِيَةٍ كَاذِبَةٍ خَاطِئَةٍ, referring to the actions of Abu Jahl la'natullahi alayhi as being wrong and being sinner. And as I said, nowadays, this is being recognized scientifically as being the fact. فَلْيَدْعُ نَادِيَهُ, let him call his allies, let him call his own people. Who how many people is he going to call? How many strong young men from Quraysh he would be from his own tribe, because his tribe is the tribe of Bani Makhzum, who were a rivalry tribe to Bani Hashim. How many he's going to call? سَنَدْعُ الزَّبَانِيَةِ. One angel is enough with the tip of his wing to flip a town all together and raise it to the sky and throw it back again to the earth, like what happened to the people of Lut alayhi salam. سَنَدْعُ الزَّبَانِيَةِ, we will be calling the Malaika of the punishment. كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ, nay, do not listen to him, do not obey him. وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ, and make your sujood to Allah Azza wa Jal, وَاقْتَرِبْ, and come closer. Now here, why Allah Azza wa Jal said, to the Prophet wasjud. What's so specific about the sujood? Sujood is the most honorable position in the salah. أقرب ما يكون العبد من ربه وهو ساجد. This is when you are showing your ultimate humiliation to Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is when Allah Azza wa Jal will be honoring you and raising you the highest rank. And this is أقرب ما يكون العبد من ربه في السجود فأكثروا من الدعاء. And this is the most powerful and beautiful position to ask Allah Azza wa Jal in your dua. كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ. And your sujood to Allah Azza wa Jal is what will make you come closer to Allah Azza wa Jal in your ibadah. So be from those الركع السجود, those who do their their ruku' and their sujood. Allah Azza wa Jal refers into salah and most of the time in the Quran as sujood, because this is the most honorable position in the salah. And be from those who prolong their sujood in the salah. Be from those who honor themselves and get their their needs done in this dunya by being with Allah Azza wa Jal in this beautiful in a position and these beautiful moments that you engage into the dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. With this, inshallah, we conclude this surah, which is a beautiful surah that has many beautiful meanings. And the one that comes before it is Surah Al-Tin. And Tin literally means the fig, والتين والزيتون وطور سنين, the fig and the olive. This is the literal translation for this. وطور سنين, and the mountain of Sinin. وهذا البلد الأمين, and this honorable town. Now let's unpack this, these beautiful loaded, words in the Quran. والتين literally is the fig. Like, why Allah Azza wa Jal would make an oath by a tin? Because this is all an oath. والتين والزيتون وطور سنين is all an oath. Why Allah Azza wa Jal would be making an oath by a tin and the olive? And Tur Sinin. Tur Sinin, we could understand that it is the mountain where Allah Azza wa Jal spoke to Musa alayhi salam, right? وهذا البلد الأمين, and this town refers to Mecca, the most honorable town on earth, and Kaaba is the most honorable spot on earth by no dispute. So Allah Azza wa Jal here is making an oath by things that He created, as it is generally in the introductions of most of the surahs at the end of the Quran, referring to things of value. At-Tin, as the Prophet indicated, that it is from the fruits of Al-Jannah. The fruits of Al-Jannah do not have peat inside it, and a tin fig is like this. So this is now also, medically speaking, fig is considered to be a beautiful fruit that treats so many sickness. And traditionally in the traditional medicine, figs and olive as a combination or individually separate or separated are used for treatment of so many diseases that people are aware of and commonly use in their life. But here, maybe Allah Azza wa Jal is not necessarily, or maybe referring to the fruits themselves, though that olive also is شجرة مباركة تخرج من طور سيناء, as Allah mentions in Surah Al-Mu'minun. أن الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نور كمشكاة فيها مصباح, المصباح في زجاجة, الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية. Allah Azza wa Jal gave an example to His nur as a lamp in a niche that is lit by olive oil. The oil itself lights before it is touched by the fire. Before it is touched by the fire. Why don't you guys go inside? Just go inside, okay? Go play inside. So, Allah Azza wa Jal referred to the olive tree as being a blessed tree. And the olive's fruits are being so blessed. But here, maybe Allah Azza wa Jal is referring to something much broader than the physical dates and figs, the figs and olives. Teen figs are normally grown up in Bilad al-Sham, in the mountains of Damascus and Palestine. And as zaytun, the olive, it grows in the land of Palestine primarily. So Allah Azza wa Jal here is referring or making an oath about locations on earth, because if you look into also the context of the ayat, Tur Sinin is a mountain, and Al-Balad Al-Amin is also a town. So this could be also in the sequence of the ayat, that Allah is referring and indicating to the places which these fruits are grown, which is Bilad al-Sham and Palestine. And this is one of the things that need to be kept in mind, to the value of these locations, because Allah Azza wa Jal had given locations preferences to certain locations over other locations. No one dispute the fact that Mecca is the most sacred place on earth, and no one denies that Ramadan is the most honorable month of the whole year, and no one denies that Laylatul Qadr is the most powerful night of the month of Ramadan, and none can deny the fact that the prophets of Allah Azza wa Jal are prophets, are selected from their own groups, their own people. And no one can deny that the chief of all the prophets, the most honorable of all the prophets of Allah Azza wa Jal is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. تِلْكَ الرُّسُلُ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ مِنْهُمْ مَنْ كَلَّمَ اللَّهُ وَرَفَعَ بَعْضَهُمْ دَرَجَاتٍ. So Allah Azza wa Jal have given preferences. This is His hikmah, this is His wisdom, for reasons we might be able to we might be aware of it, and we might not be able to understand it and comprehend it in our life. And here Allah Azza wa Jal, because of the fact that Bilad al-Sham and more specifically Baytul Maqdis and Jerusalem and Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa are the hot spot and the most valuable and recognized to the Muslim Ummah. That's why Allah Azza wa Jal said, in Surah Al-Isra, Subhana al-Asra bi'abdi ilayla min al-Masjid al-Haram ila al-Masjid al-Aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu. Barakna hawlahu, that we bless the surrounding of it. Glory be to Allah Azza wa Jal, the one who took His servant in a journey at night from al-Masjid al-Haram to al-Masjid al-Aqsa, from Mecca to Jerusalem, from the Masjid al-Haram to the Masjid al-Aqsa. This is, to give weight to this particular part of the Muslim Ummah, so that no one later on would be looking at this part of the world as being a region that belongs to a group of people, and we should not care about as a Muslim Ummah. The Muslim Ummah is altogether responsible for the protection of the shrines of Islam. That's, Allah forbids, if Mecca is being attacked or the Masjid al-Haram is being attacked, the whole Muslim Ummah would not be settled. They will all be standing up to defend al-Masjid al-Haram. Well, what's wrong with the Masjid al-Aqsa then? Why the Muslims are not being supportive and protective to the Masjid al-Aqsa? And this is not only in nowadays, this is through the history of Islam. Through the history of Islam, this Masjid al-Aqsa has been always the focal attention of the many nations who have come and occupied it and took it, and then eventually Muslims bring it back to the glory to the garden of Islam. This is so that the Muslims throughout the time, throughout the history, would not be ignoring their responsibility towards these specific blessed lands that Allah Azza wa Jal have given their values from His wisdom. We don't know why, we might be able to know, but Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. So Allah Azza wa Jal wants to raise the attention of the Muslim Ummah that be careful. These are valuable shrines of Islam. Al-Balad Al-Amin, Tur Sinin, and Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, or Bilad al-Sham in general. And if a group of individuals or the locals of that area were not able to defend it or have failed to defend it, then it is responsibility of the Muslim Ummah to say, no, you cannot sell this particular part of the Muslim Ummah. You do not own it, because Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he first conquered Jerusalem at his time, and the Sahaba said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, give us the towns and farms in Bayt al-Maqdis or in the land of Palestine. He said, no, this is all waqf. This is belong to the Muslim Ummah, because the Muslim Ummah should always be looking into protecting the shrines of Islam, including the Masjid al-Aqsa. So this is one of the catches you can get from والتين والزيتون, the places of growth for these blessed fruits. وطور سنين, the mountain where Allah Azza wa Jal spoke to Isa Musa alayhi salam. وهذا البلد الأمين, and Allah Azza wa Jal referring to the Balad al-Amin where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to reside, or where he grew up in his childhood, and then where the message of Islam started in that part of the world. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. Now the first three verses were a qasam, an oath, and the answer of the qasam, لقد, we have created man in the most honorable and a beautiful way. Now this is to say وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِمَّا خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. The most honorable creations of Allah Azza wa Jal are human. No one can dispute that. No one can deny this. Allah Azza wa Jal have honored you, have created you in the most beautiful form, have given you so many blessings, have given you the beautiful image and look that would make you distinguished from other creations of Allah Azza wa Jal, have honored you also by the aql, the mind, which He had given to you and did not give to other creations of His. Why the humans are different from other creations, like animals, for instance, or like the mountains, or like the skies, or like the earth. These are all creations of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah have honored human because of the fact that He have given them this beautiful look and image, but at the same time He had given them the aql, the mind in which they used and contemplate and reflect and in their affairs of life. And that's why the Muslim or the mu'min could rise and supplement in their status because of their honoring of their aql, as it happened when Allah Azza wa Jalla asked the malaika to make sujood to Adam because of his knowledge, a sujood of honor. And even some of the mu'mineen will be rising and supplementing in their ranks above some of the malaika that Allah Azza wa Jalla created. This is already known to us as Muslimin. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. And there is a beautiful story. They say that someone who was so much loving to his wife said to her, by Allah Azza wa Jal, you are the most beautiful of all the creations of Allah. If you are not the most beautiful creations of Allah Azza wa Jal, you are divorced. Sometimes people try to go extreme to please their wives. So he said to her, if you are not the most beautiful creations of Allah Azza wa Jal, you are divorced. Then she stood up and covered herself away from him. He said, what's wrong? He said, now you said that I am the most beautiful creations of Allah Azza wa Jal, and if I'm not that, I'm divorced. Then you divorced me. So this guy was in trouble. So he looked for answers from the scholars and the ulama at his time. And then all of them, they said, khalas, you divorced your wife. He became more crazy, that he loved his wife and he wants to please her and wants to show her. Except for one of the scholars said to him, he recited this ayah, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Indeed, Allah Azza wa Jal have created man or human in the most honorable and most beautiful above all other creations of Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is an ayah that have saved the marriage of that person in his things. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين. And then we have made him return back, decline, رددناه, decline, go back إلى أسفل السافلين. ومنكم من يرد إلى الأرض للعمر لكي لا يعلم بعد علم شيئا. We grow up as weak infants, unable to support ourselves, and then we gradually gain autonomy and we gain momentum and we become strong, and then eventually after that we will be going back gradually again to the ard al-umr, to become weak again and to become unable to recognize and unable to support ourselves. And nowadays we hear a lot about people losing memory, and we hear about a lot about dementia, and we hear about Alzheimer's as a disease. These are all things that are, facts about a human being. That the time will come when we will be once again in a vulnerable condition as we were at the beginning of our life. And this again, subhanallah, why the importance of birrul walidain. And this is why this is one of the most important things for people to have usra, family, because this is this beautiful creation or unit that Allah have created is to serve multiple purposes, to serve on all the needs at different levels in people's life. ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين. Or it could be also another meaning that the scholars of tafsir have indicated, that Allah Azza wa Jalla have honored the human, giving them the hidayah, and Allah Azza wa Jalla have blessed them with and especially those who have received messages from their prophets, and to be honored with the deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and to be blessed with the guidance from Allah Azza wa Jalla. And then some of them unfortunately decline and reject and fail to embrace the deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla. ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا, and Allah Azza wa Jalla is giving them an exception. And normally, with exceptions, you will see some descriptions. إلا الذين آمنوا, except for those who believed. طيب, what else يا ربي? وعملوا الصالحات, and they did good. وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. The human are indeed at either declining in their old age and unable to do the things they used to do. Young people early in their life or in the peak of their strength were able to do certain ibadat of siyam and qiyam and qiraat al-Quran and hajj and umrah and jihad in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal, and they were able to do so many things as a result of their ability and strength. As they weak, they gradually lose this ability, and that's why we see some of the people praying on chairs when they come to the masjid. Others are, unfortunately, as if you go to see in hospitals, visit sick people in hospitals, you'll see them unable even to sit down. They pray on their bed, and there are those who are unable to pray on their bed, and they only gesture with their eyes when they want to do their salah. So Allah Azza wa Jal is saying that yes, indeed, and some, as I said, they mentioned earlier, that they lose their cognitive ability, their ability to do the same things that they used to do from before. And when this happened, Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, so don't worry, because you were engaged in your youthhood into certain ibadat and ta'at. The rewards of this will be continuing for you even at an old age. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Those who were believers in Allah Azza wa Jal and they did righteous in their life, and وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and they used to encourage each other to do the good, and they were encouraging each other. Words will continue even at the old age, even at when they يُرَدُّ إِلَى أَرْضِ الْعُمُرِ. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, or it could be human in general are أسفل سافلين. They are degraded into lower grades, except for those who believe, because if you believe, then you're excluded from being from أسفل السافلين. And وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. And we did talk in Surah Al-Asr, إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. We said there are 4 things in this: iman, amal, وتواصي بالحق وتواصي بالصبر. There are 4 things that you need to keep in mind that will complement your personality. Iman, first of all, because it's the core, core of your life as a Muslim, as a mu'min. Because iman is أَتَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. وعملوا الصالحات always come together. Iman without amal salih is hypocrisy, and amal without iman is unfortunately not acceptable. Because if you do not, do your deeds based on the fact that you are seeking the rewards from Allah, then your actions are worthless. They're not rewarded. For the sake of a humanity, then get rewarded by being recognized by humanity. But if you're doing your actions for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, with strong and firm belief that you are going to meet Allah Azza wa Jal, that this is what will be in benefit for you in the hereafter, then eventually, alhamdulillah, you will get rewarded for it. So first of all, amal and iman. This is like the head and the body. You cannot have one without the other. And together will be like the wings of the bird that will enable you to fly and prosper in your life. So iman, amal, salihat. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. If the first two were applied individually on the personal level, if every individual in the community were ensuring that they have the perfect iman, and they were acting upon their iman by al-amal salih, and we have every member in the community acting that in their life, then we need the other two on a community level to be able to enhance and perfect the society. وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. You were the best of nations that came out that Allah has sent. Why? تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. You call for good and you forbid the evil. So this is لعن الذين كفروا من بني إسرائيل على لسان داود وعيسى بن مريم ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. لعن الذين كفروا, the disbelievers from Bani Israel were cursed by عيسى بن مريم. لعن الذين كفروا بني إسرائيل على لسان داود وعيسى بن مريم, by Dawood and Isa ibn Maryam. ذلك بما عصوا. They used to disbelieve, to do evil or the sins. ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون, and they transgress in their sins. So if you do not exercise the amr bil ma'ruf, to call people to do good in the society and to encourage others to do the good in their society, then eventually, a day after another, one person will be, gradually slipping into the ma'asi, and then eventually the second after him, and the third after him, and then eventually the whole society will be, dragged into ma'asi wal-'iyadhu billah. If there is no amr bil ma'ruf and nahy al-munkar, then eventually the society will be at the brink of losing the status and being in sin. And also at the same time, when you call people to ta'amur ma'ruf wa tanha al-munkar, there is a price. There is something that you will be faced with. There is a challenge. Many of the scholars, may Allah inshallah relieve them from their jail and imprisonment, are being jailed now as a result of their speaking the truth. So do not أحسب الناس ويتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. No one will exercise al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa nahy al-munkar except that he or she will be faced with the challenges. So that's why Allah says, it's not only to be a mu'min by yourself. It's not only mu'min to be at home or inside the masjid by yourself. You need to share your your energy and your belief and the dynamic energy that you have with others around you. If you do not share it with them, then eventually your light would fade. This is one of the things normally I encourage young people with. In order for you to keep yourself on the right path, you have to promote. What's the best way of learning? Is to teach, right? The best strategy of learning is to teach. If you start teaching what you are learning, then knowledge will sink in your mind, and it will become firm. So in order for you to maintain your status of iman, you need to promote your actions and deeds to others and teach it to others. But at the same time, you need to encourage each other and to be patient. Today I might be weak, you will be strong, and tomorrow you will be weak and I will be strong. And today I'm going through a difficulty, and you will be coming to give me the strength and give me the console and give me the mu'azara, the ability to keep going, and vice versa. The following day you will be going through the same thing, and I will be, supporting you. So this is what's the example of the Muslim Ummah. These 4 things are essential 4 things for us to be able to prosper and be able to, inshallah, create this, society that is full of energy and iman. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. The rewards, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَات. So here وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, it's in Surah Al-Asr, but we used it in the context of, of explaining وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. There indeed, the rewards are, by Allah Azza wa Jal, غير ممنون, without any, manna. Man is like, when you give someone something and you say, oh, I give you this. When Allah Azza wa Jal rewards you, He will not be, giving you a man as a result of what you have done. So, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, except for those who have believed and done good in their life, when they become to an old age, then the rewards of their actions will continue for them. So when we see, people at an old age with Alzheimer, or we see them, losing their abilities, and there's a blessed, uncle, may Allah have rahmah on him, that I'm personally, I know him personally. MashaAllah, he was very dynamic, MashaAllah, uncle. In the masjid, always cleaning, supporting, doing this. Now he lost his ability, he's lost his cognition. He has Alzheimer, and so I felt sorry for him. But subhanAllah, when I start reading more about how Allah Azza wa Jalla, with His rahmah, the same rewards, the same actions he used to do, inshallah, he will be getting the same reward even afterwards when he lost his cognitive abilities. فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ, from Allah Azza wa Jal. فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ. Why are they denying the deen? أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Isn't Allah Azza wa Jal is the most of wise? And when you hear this ayah, you will be saying, Bala wa nahnu ala dhalika min ash-shahidin. Yes, indeed, our Allah is the most wise of the wisest, and we are testifying for that. Bala wa nahnu ala dhalika min ash-shahidin. With this, inshallah, we will stop the dars for tonight, concluding Surah Al-Tin, so that next time, inshallah, we will be going over Surah Al-Duha, wal-Ishtirah, because these are 2 beautiful surahs that are almost attached to each other, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wa